they'll broadly strike them. It's striking, and then like the
right,
person just
right.
says like,
Guys,
"Hey,
we're gonna go live here. We ain't started.
Your specs, you know." It's like,
I see 2 flags.
I know. Yeah, Christy.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Walter, lead us in prayer.
Yes, I had a couple weeks ago, I had opportunity to go to Arkansas to a Liberty Pastors event, and they were sharing a lot of the history. And as I told the people in Madonna last night, it made me mad because of all the things that have not been continually taught about the founders and their beliefs. So I wanted to read this statement by one of the signers to the Constitution, James Wilson, who was on the Supreme Court. He said, "It should always be remembered that this law, natural or revealed, made for men or for nations, flows from the same divine source. It is the law of God. Human law must rest in authority ultimately upon the authority of that law which is divine." So all of their discussions was about honoring God. So the Constitution, and we all know that here, but the Constitution is all came from the Bible. They're principles. And if you're not lifting up the Bible, the Word of God, and the things of God, and our nation, yes, is divided because you got the left and the right, and the left is not going by the Constitution. And you have it hints right in our face on national television, a woman that's not qualified to be a Supreme Court justice, but because she was a part of a group that was anti-Barrett and Kavanaugh, they had a truck that went around the Supreme Court saying, Biden, whoever his name was, you need to retire. And she's a part of that group. And they made a deal with Joe Biden that when you get in office, this is who we want you to put on the Supreme Court. She's evil.
Yep. Amen.
And so it's so sad. And they're using this skin color to justify that. And so anyway, when I left there, I was mad with where our country goes. Lord, thank you for this day.
Yes.
And Lord, take this madness, this anger, and make it go to some good use for your kingdom. So I bless every family represented here today. Thank you for the love of God that we all have. And we lift up the patriots all over this country and nation. And Lord, I got a chance to go to Hagerstown just for a minute here when I was in Washington Tuesday. And even when I was driving to my meeting on the highway, there were 2 small convoys of patriots riding. And it was awesome. I got goosebumps. So thank you for the patriots here. Bless our food and our colors of our meeting. In Christ's name we pray. Everybody say amen.
Amen.
Woo, woo. Well, I'm Jonathan Elmuth. Welcome to We the People, Canton. And for those of you who are new here, about a year ago, a group of us got together and said, hey, we got to do something. So we started meeting every Thursday night. We talked to the restaurant ownership here, just coordinated with them, what's a good night for them to, so we didn't want to do it on their busy nights or whatever. So started meeting, and we started with, 7 people, that first meeting. And this is about an average meeting. And we have politicians come in, we talk about different subjects, anything from prepping to health and how to take care of yourself, you name it. And we just form relationships. It's very important. I think it's the most important thing we can do. We have tonight with us here a candidate that's running for, the 7th, the 13th?
It's 13th.
13th District, Dante Sabatucci. He's going to give us a little update.
America. Thank you. America. Thanks, guys. Man, there's so much going on. I'll try to keep it brief because I know Jason's going to give his update too, but I'll take questions or whatever, or you can come talk to me. First of all, I want to tell a little story about this pullover here. just on Tuesday night, I've been calling all the American Legion of VFWs. And some of them are inviting me to come in, and the one on Cleveland Avenue, American Legion invited me to come in, and they let me talk for like 10 minutes, and everybody cheered, and they were all happy. But I wore my Steelers jacket. But by the way, there are people that have told me that, oh, Steelers, I'll vote for you for sure. So I mean, it's not always a negative. But he's like, I got something for you. This is a guy I just met. He goes, I got something for you. And he loaned it to me, and I went and picked it up today, and it was actually able to give some things out of his business too. So he loaned this thing to me. It's got OSU on it. It's got the flag. So that's just like one example of the kind of things that are happening as I'm out there campaigning. Just meeting people. There's trust there. And it's really been amazing. I just got one of the people that I met works for Secretary LaRose. She directly works for him, and she just sent me. He tweeted out at 4:43 this afternoon that the primary is still on for May 3rd. The Supreme Court just denied a request by the Democrats to move the May primary for the congressional district. Yeah. So that's good for me because now that everything's settled. Remember last time I was here, the districts weren't settled yet. But I said, wherever this is, that's where I will be. And that's how it's worked out. But it was even way better than I could have even imagined or asked for, because the district being northwestern Stark County, I mean, this is where I went to high school. This is where I've got tons of family and friends and all this kind of stuff. But Summit County, too, is where I went to school with Akron U. I lived in Stowe for 20 plus years. I live in the Falls right now. I had my baseball business up in Stowe for 5 or 6 years, and then I moved it down into Jackson Township. So all the relationships that I have in Stowe, Hudson, Talmadge, Falls, Twinsburg, all those places are in my district now. And so from that, I was able to put together a list of about 3,000. This is all private information, I guess, if it's on it, whatever. But I've got a list of about 3,000 names that are all people that I have a personal relationship with because I coached their kids or I did business with them one way or the other, that I'm able to have as my email list right now. And to me, if you start with 3,000, and that doesn't include the 1,000 people on Facebook and 1,000 people on LinkedIn and just the people that I meet that are sharing my cards and all this kind of stuff, I'm feeling that, now it might just be my imagination, but I feel like I have some momentum and I have a real chance, because the other thing is there's 7 candidates in this race. And I've talked to people, except for the political people, not one person has known the name of anybody that's running. Even Madison, who got the Trump endorsement, nobody knows her. They say, oh, she's got all these followers. And I'm like, well, I think they're all over the country, but they're not in Stark County or certainly not in Summit County. Yeah. So I don't know her. I have nothing against her, but I just feel that with my background and experience and all that and my military training, really, because it's going to take some courage to go into the halls of Congress and be face to face with the evil that's there, and be willing to say, I will not give up on my principles. I will not change course. I will not do such and such. And also the fact that I could care less about re-election. I mean, obviously, if I get in, I'm going to want to make an impact. But if God only has me there for 2 years, then fine. I feel like some of these candidates who are sort of either career politicians or aspiring career politicians, they're going to have to weigh that decision on do I not vote to increase the debt limit ceiling, because the press is going to be hard on me, and I really want to have a long career here. So I could go on and on. I want to thank Tom. I walk in again. Here's another blessing. He's like, hey man, I'm going to be going door to door over the next few weeks. Can you give me some of your cards? I'm like, yes, I can. I've just been thinking about how can I organize some opportunities to pass out my cards and stuff. So there's so much more going on. It's been great. I used the analogy earlier today that it's like popcorn. At first it kind of started simmering kind of slow, but like every day now, it's just stuff is happening, coming out of nowhere, and I'm energized, and I want it to stay May 3rd because that gives less time for my opponents to spend all that money and do all the ads and everything to catch up. Is where I feel like what it is. So I don't know. That's the update. I know that's popular,
Did Gibbs get moved out of this district? What happened with Bob Gibbs?
Yeah, so what happened was, it's hard to believe it's been so much has happened since I've been here last, but yeah. So the district, so I'm not running against Bob Gibbs now. District 7 is not in Stark County anymore. It got moved over sort of like Medina and I think Wayne and basically just west of Summit County and all that. So he's in a totally different district. and then at the same time, Max Miller moved over there as well, for whatever reason. I don't know why he didn't stay in 13. I think it's because it's a little bit of a lefty-leaning thing. And then Jonas Schultz also went over into 13 as well. That's the current one, yeah. No, Jonas Schultz is in 13. That's the current one, yes. No, he's in 7. I'm sorry. Yeah, see, the voters, imagine that. The voters are confused. People don't know when the primary is. So anyhow, yeah, all those people are in 7, and now I'm in 13 with 6 other candidates. Some of whom don't even live in the county. There's another citizen candidate. It's just a mishmash, but I mean, like I said, it's good for me. The other thing I want to say is I've been really remembering when I talk to people to tell them the primary date, because that's the one thing. People are like, yeah, I can't wait to vote for you in November. I'm like, no. May 3rd. So I set up my text now. When I send a text message out, it just has a signature. Dante for Congress, May 3rd. And that's actually worked, because people joke with me and say, because these are friends of mine, they'll joke with me, but they didn't really know that I was running for Congress, and they certainly probably didn't know the primary date. So now I have it on all my email, even my business emails and stuff. It's everywhere. So I would just encourage you to let people know the primary date. So
May 3rd.
Yeah, May 3rd. Current, as of an hour ago, that's what it was. So
okay.
We'll see if anything changes. Yeah, and I also want to say thanks to Jason, and everything he did and going to that convoy. I tuned in a few times on Facebook Live. That was fun to watch. It was really kind of entertaining to listen to you and your brother talk in the early part of it. I enjoyed that. And now here's the crazy thing, and I don't think this is a small thing, but every time I tuned into him, there was some reference. Remember how I talked about Gideon when I did my speech, and God saying 30,000 is too many, and He whittled it down, because that's what I feel like. All these little disadvantages that have come against my campaign, but at the same time, I feel like God, if God wants to prove Himself, Gideon is just the kind of been my theme. And every single time I tuned into his live, there was some kind of reference to Gideon. So it was kind of funny. So anyhow, thanks guys. And I'll be here all night. So.
Well, tonight we're going to do a special thing. Jason's was down in Hagerstown, went with the convoy, and he's going to talk about that experience. And then we're going to open it up. We're going to have this is kind of one of those, not one every once in a while. We just do like an open mic kind of thing, except we don't have a mic. We can all talk loud enough. But we go around, introduce ourselves, and tonight we're going to talk about what frustrates you the most. So think about it while Jason's talking. So with that, Jason, come on up here and share with us what your experience was with the Truckers Convoy.
Thanks, guys. It's good to be back. Actually, I'm excited about being here tonight. Sometimes I'm so busy. Everything's so jammed together. I'm running like crazy to get here, but I'm really looking forward to being here tonight. So appreciate all you guys kind of being behind me. And I really felt that when I was down there. The church kind of sent me. They prayed over me. Actually, Walter preached that Sunday, and they came up, and I felt sent by the church, by here. The support. Like, man, me and Josh left here that night, and some of you guys threw cash at me. I literally cried when I was just like, wow, it's crazy, man. It was pretty cool. So, thank y'all. I appreciate it. Kind of been on my heart here. I'm on a live, so I have Daryl have the phone here. I want to read something out loud here. Read a verse that kind of been sticking out to me a little bit. Like Dante said, there's so much going on right now. I mean, there's just it seems like always like that, but right now we're 6 weeks from the primary. These races. There's so much happening in the Senate race. We saw the governor's race. I mean, Friday night you had the Gibbons-Mandel thing. Saturday morning you had the Blystone, the tyrant thing, right? The tiny tyrant, oh my God. And then there's so many other things going on in all aspects of this, and I really do feel like some things are, we're close to seeing which way this thing's going to go. This has been from the election. I see it kind of, we've almost been in a slide in a lot of ways. Is that fair to say? Since January of 2021, we have been in this type of slide. And I feel like we're coming right up to where we're going to figure out which way this thing's going to go. And it puts importance on the elections, on the candidates, and on this group. I mean, on how each one of us interact, what we talk about at church and our neighbors, what we share on our social media. It all plays together. We're an influence in our community. It's not just about us and me, but we influence people. And that's kind of where I think the truck convoy, really what it was doing. But anyway, Psalm 62, it says, truly my soul waits upon God, from him comes my salvation. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense, and I shall not be greatly moved. And man, that rock thing has been really standing out to me. Like, if God is our rock, and we're not looking for a politician to save us, or we're not looking for the next pill or the next diet or the next job, like, everything can pound around you, and if you've got that as your center core, I'm telling you, I go back many times to what Coach Dave said the night he was here about the Tea Party and how the Tea Party movement was so powerful and had these groups of people. But then what happened? He said, I'm telling you, it's because they wouldn't put God at their center.
Right.
They asked him to come speak, and they were like, can you come share? But could you just leave that God thing out, right? They literally asked him that. He's like, that's what I talk about. So that's, let's keep that in our forefront as this group grows, and we're going to understand the value of this group more and more in the upcoming days. I really believe that, man. We are really going to understand, like, man, we got that. I felt it at the convoy. I felt that. So, okay, I'm going to just kind of go over the story, and then I'll share a few stories maybe, but this is my journal here. I just kind of, it really helped keep what happened and my thoughts and stuff, and I'm just going to kind of skip over it as I kind of share the story. So, we left, Thursday night, we left, me and Josh, we went down to Cambridge, and nobody was on the overpasses, and we just, we were late for that. In fact, we passed some people coming back that had been there.
There was tons of people. I was down there.
Right, but by the time I got there.
By the time you got there.
By the time I got there.
People were out there all day.
We were stoked all day Thursday. Is that right? Yeah. You guys were coming home. I think you were coming home as we were coming through. Yeah. But when we got there, you could feel the energy. This is something, guys, to remember about these movements, about this group, about community. I pulled in there, man, it was crazy. You pull up in there, I'm sure the people on the overpass felt it, but being a part of it was so cool. We parked in the back. Actually, we pulled up to the gas station and went inside, and there's 10 people sitting at a little table at Speedway. And everybody is just like buddy, right? We're talking, I'm from Iowa. I'm a reporter. Where are you? And the conversation was really, you just starved for that kind of community. And to talk to people like that. And everybody's fired up, and America, and everybody's like hollering, and it was from right there inside the Speedway. Really cool. See what all I wrote here. Okay. So we, I had the trailer rigged up. We had a little heater, a little buddy heater. Actually worked amazing. I took my, Stephanie and Christine helped me clean up my trailer, and we took a recliner that was a wall hugger dual recliner with the center console that comes down with like the armrest and the cup holders. And I had it sitting in my garage, and I pushed in the trailer, and when that thing fully reclined, the leg rest hit one side of the trailer and the head rest hit the other. It literally perfectly fit inside that trailer. And I'm telling you, it slept dang near as good as my bed. It was like a gift from God, man. It was amazing. Turned on the buddy heater, kicked back, and we had, it was a cool. We had music, some of the people, Jessica and a few others gave me CDs, and we put the music in, cranked it up, and had a battery and a the battery turned it into power. Generator. No, from a battery. Inverter, right. Had an inverter so I could run my power. But anyway, the first thing that really stood out to me is when we went for a walk. I took the flag, had some smoke bombs. I had a bunch of these cool smoke bombs. People loved them, man. We walked through the semis, and it's like 10:30 by now. And we walk up, and there's this fire. They've got a campfire built on top of a grill. They had a grill, it was a half a grill, and then they had grilled, and then they put wood on top of it. And there was between a couple semis. And there was these Polish guys there that couldn't really speak English. But we walked up, and we're literally from here to Jonathan from them, and they're like, "Hey, what's up? We love you!" And I was like, "What?" It was super, like, at first a little awkward, a little weird. That's literally this dude. He was probably, I think he was half lit, but still.
Polish, Jason.
They're Polish, right? So they had grilled a bunch of big Polish sausage, literally. It's like, "Hey, eat something." He like forced me to eat a Polish sausage. It was burnt, but whatever, it was lovely. And we blew off some smoke bombs, and they were shouting, I had the cameras out, and everybody was hanging around the little fire there. I'm thinking, man, I've been here 30 minutes, and we've already made buddies, and everybody's just like acting like we're family already. And that was a lot of how the interaction amongst a lot of the people went. I think what intrigued a lot of people, about it was that interaction. So the next morning when we took off, it takes a while to get the convoy going. We lined, they filled all the trucks, and there was rumors out there that they were paying for the semis. They didn't mind, but I probably could have. I did get a few gas cards that they gave me when I left, but for the most part, the semis all got their gas paid if they wanted. So they would loop through the gas stations and then come back and line up and then wait to take off. And so it was, 10, 11, 12, I don't remember what time it was, 12 o'clock maybe. Blystone was there, Renacy was there. Jim Renacy posted a picture. He came up, we were talking, and he posted, I think his campaign manager posted a picture of me talking to him. I'm leaning in real intently, and he said something about interacting with the convoy people. I was basically telling him you can't come to our meeting, but sorry, Jim. No, listen, he was basically like, man, give me a chance to come speak, at your meeting, and we've had this conversation. Okay, this is something that I openly asked, like, what do you guys think about bringing everybody here? And let you guys, you're all smart people, you can decide who to vote for. There's a few people, I wouldn't let Mike DeWine or Jane Kim come here, I don't think, but, we have some balance of morals, right? But scruples. What's that? Scruples. Yeah, right. For the most part, we are, this is a platform. People get to meet people. Like Dante got your foot in the door somewhere, and then we have connections, and it'll allow the people to decide. I think most people are pretty smart. But anyway, met Jim. It was a really cool time. I met so many people at first day. Finally got lined up, took off, and of course the girls. Some of you guys were out there on an overpass, and when you're in it. And you see the people. We had an overpass that was probably 150 people, I think. And that's really, of the whole trip, was maybe the thing that stood out the most. Because when you have 150 people cheering for you, they're literally from the overpasses shouting, "We love you." They have signs up, "We love you," "Thank you," and these people are there to see you off. And it charges the atmosphere. It really creates this space to where you feel important, you are valued, you are loved. Like, this is what's missing in America. This is the most basic thing, and it was all right there. Wow. People appreciating each other, and so it was. I wish I would have joined. If I had to do it over again, I would have gone to Indiana. Literally, I would have gone to Indiana, where they stayed 2 nights. That's where they came from before they came Cambridge. They stayed an extra night at a farm. I just found out they found that farm. There was a secondary location, and this farmer met this guy, I don't know if at a bar or something, and he was like, "Oh, they have to come to my farm." He talked the convoy into switching location, coming to the farm. It was such a cool place. They stayed for 2 days. So that was so the experience of the travel there. Once you got there, you're set up. You're forward thinking, right? There's the experience of them getting here. I heard a lot of stories of people that this one guy from New Mexico. He said he joined them in New Mexico, and about an hour from New Mexico, the first big town they came to, I think it was Tupelo or Tupelo, I've heard the town of it. Yeah. The whole town shut down. The mayor, the police chief, the fire department, the hospital staff, everybody, hundreds of people on every overpass were sitting there waiting on them. And he said it blew my mind. He said I was going to be in the convoy for maybe 2 hours, and then we were going back. And he said I literally couldn't bring myself to steer my truck off the exit. So they went to Missouri. The next stop was Missouri, and he said that night my grandson called me and he's like, if you're going, I'm coming with you, man. You can't leave me. He had his niece with him, which was, his niece was like 13 or 12. Grandson was maybe 15. No, they were younger than that. His niece was like 10 and his grandson was like 13. So his parents, the parents of the kid, got up at 8 o'clock at night, drove 6 hours to Missouri and brought the grandson. Wow. And they were still there. Wow. I got his phone number last time I talked last week. He was still there. He intended to go for 2 hours. So that's the kind of that's the kind of draw, right, that this is created and the community that's created. And then when we got there, if any of you watched any of my Facebook lives, there's some of them are long and I was not good. I didn't even have a stick, man. I was just holding my phone like a total rookie, right? I would never even thought I'd go live. But when I first got there and we pulled up in traffic, there's the long lines of traffic, of course, and the neighbors are out there. For those of you that were there, it's just it's not in town, but there's some close together houses, right? Every neighbor was outside. It's about 30 minutes before dark. And I told Josh, I said, you drive, I'm going to get in the back of the truck. So I jumped in the back of the truck, and that's when I did my first live. But you got to go back and watch that. I'm telling you, that was the most memorable, where you're getting there, the people are lined up cheering, the horns are blowing, the atmosphere is charged. I'm telling you, man, that was really something I'm never going to forget. Pulling down the hill of the Speedway and people lined up like you're coming to save the world. That's literally like the vision that they have is that we are coming to save them from this hell they've been going through. And of course, that's not necessarily reality, but we have to see how we fight and where the fight lies. Like, how are we going to overcome this? And the number one thing I think is we're going to have to inspire more people to fight. Yes. Well, we need Gideon's 300. In this fight, we need everybody. Or we need more people that have at least a voice. They're not going to run for office. They may not come to this meeting, but we inspire them to vote, number one. And I'm telling you, that truck convoy has inspired a lot of people to pay attention. We had locals that came down. And we'd come in there walking through, just looking for a campfire, looking for truckers to give money to give food to hey, give me a tour. I had these two ladies coming down there late when I said, we just want a tour of the place. I'm like, it's like 11:30. So I took them for a tour, way to the back 40. We had the back 40 there, so yeah, we pulled in there. Finally, I think about 2 hours we waited. They took the semis in first. And they wanted to get all the semis lined up a certain way. So they were, like in Canada, if you remember, they had lined up the semis down the rows, and you'd walk between the rows of the semis, semi on either side of you here, and the diesels running and the horns blowing. And I remember seeing it on YouTube, but you cannot describe the feeling. And they were trying to, I think, kind of recreate that in some way. They lined up all the semis, but what happens is they can't get out, right? The semis are locked in. So after all the semis are in, after they're all lined up, then the campers and the trucks and the cars, and we went to basically the back 40, the Speedway where people can set up and camp. And it was really nice. It was a really nice spot. But we drove way to the back. There's a field back there, set up the camper, and it reminded me like Woodstock or some old concert, A lot of people said that. It's like, this is like Ozfest or Woodstock or something where everybody's just living back here. People slept in their cars. The second night it got down to 14 degrees. And I know several people, actually the person right next to me slept in a tent with no heat in 14 degrees. it's just, I was like, wait, I couldn't believe it. I was like, did you need extra blankets? Like, I got them. Like, I had like a sleeping bag and 2 blankets. I was good. But those people were all over that. That's actually the people the Convoy was made up of. Especially the ones that stuck it out. Were the ones that were like, hey, we're doing this, man. We've invested our time, our energy, and this is what we're going to do. We're not going to go home because it got cold or because that guy went home or whatever. Let me just see here real quick. Just a couple things here I wanted to share. When I did lose a magnet. My brother's wife made me the Convoy magnet, the semis with the American flag fist and the Canadian flag fist together. A lot of you guys saw that. It blew off my truck somehow. Dang it. We're still down the road. Here we go. Yeah, I think on every time I would journal, I'd talk about how amazing the atmosphere was, how much love was there, how many people said, we love you, thank you for being here, being a part of this. This is history. You heard that constantly. This is history. We're making history. Like, they're going to write about this. It's like before Trump and after Trump. It's going to be like before the Convoy and after the Convoy. And not necessarily because of the change that the Convoy was bringing, but because of the movement that it created. And I believe most people are looking for something to be a part of. They're looking for a movement that would inspire them to fight for something. Some people don't even know what. Actually, some of the people that were there, was an old hillbilly there from West Virginia, and he came because his grandpa came, and he wasn't even really did anything political. And he was like, wow, like he was so inspired by the conversations around the campfire and by all the people together, and he's like, oh man, I'm going home, man. I'm going to protest with Grandpa. Like, So it inspired a lot of people. People are looking for a movement. They're looking for something to happiness is one thing, but I don't think joy. You can have real joy in your life if you don't have fulfillment. And the only way to be fulfilled is to live out your purpose, or to live for something greater than making $1, or even having friends, or a church, or a group. To have a purpose in your life, man, is the most powerful force. And people found a piece of that there. That is how I would describe a lot of those people that slept in their cars, slept in their tents, that didn't have a clear vision of what they were there for, but they wanted to be a part of something. And they wanted to be a part of a movement that had the potential to make a difference. And these people doing that together was a movement, and I believe it did start a movement. I believe it will change how we fight going forward. There will be more of these. They're still there. Sometimes I'm like, wow, I can't. I've only been gone like 10 days, but they're doing basically the same thing. They've been down into D.C. a couple times. They've gotten closer. I know you guys probably follow it. They've made different routes. I think they should pull up on some politician's house. Right? Surround the house. That was what I was saying. You don't have to do anything illegal. Take her to San Fran, yes. On that note, before I forget, they might roll up on Nancy's house in San Francisco, because today, Dawn Moody is the one that made the People's Convoy Ohio page. She has been very active. I went live on that page with her once. I did a live on the page. Very active, and she planned the convoy April 30th for Columbus. She's been very active. She got off the phone with some people just tonight that they're doing that in all 50 states on that same day. So that is actually the vision that those guys had. That is really the vision that they had for the convoy, as much as getting them to drop the emergency order was to inspire the states to take action. And I said this many times. I said, our job is going to be much easier because of this convoy. Because people are watching it. There's all the live, right?
Yep.
People are like, it's not on the news. Well, the people that watch the news and Fox and CNN for the most part aren't real active anyway. Of course, some of them are. I mean, I watch Tucker, but the point is, a lot of people that are following social media accounts and that are getting their news from a different source just need inspiration.
Yeah.
We've had 120 people in here. Close. People just need inspiration to get out and to fight and a cause, and just telling me somebody that the governor's race is in jeopardy because we don't like our tyrant governor is not enough unless you create a movement behind it. And so I think that I'm going to have taken from there the idea of how, when we have something that we're trying to accomplish, how do you create a movement? How do you rally the people behind the movement, right? Because the cause itself is very seldom enough to pull the people and keep them in the fight. They get discouraged, like without the atmosphere and the love and all the stuff and the support from that convoy, they would have fizzled out the first week. Because the value of the what brought them there to get the mandates dropped, the movement, the cause is not great enough without the movement. And the movement is really what was, the greatest part of what happened down there. A few quick stories here. The first day, I think it was the first day on the convoy. We were stoked that first day, man. There were so many people lined up out there. It was amazing. We got there Friday night, right? We get there Friday night. No, we got there Friday. No, we left here Thursday night. Got down there Friday night. It was pretty chilly. We got there Saturday. We did our first convoy. So, oh no, this was before I got there. So between when we left down here in Hagerstown, at one point one of my flags, I lost one of my flags. So I was like, well, I can't leave that was my favorite American flag on my stick. Like, I gotta have that. So I pull over and go running back, and I see the semi pulls over. And the semi, he jumps out and he grabs the flag. It's a long way, it's a quarter mile at least back there. He comes walking and he's like, dude, I said, are you part of the convoy? And he was like, no, but I wish I was. And I was like, you are now. And he realized that simple act of him pulling over and getting that flag and bringing that flag back to him, he almost cried. He was like, he wanted to. He said, I knew it was going to happen, but I think he worked for FedEx or something. He's like, they would have went nuts if I would have come to this, especially he didn't have a truck. So he got to, just in some small way, everybody wanted to be a part of it in some way. And on that note, a lot of you were a part of it. I know this guy there in the corner, what was your name? Terry, yeah. He wasn't going to tell you, but he gave me $100 before I left, and he said, give 9 semi-drivers $10.
All right.
And so within like 3 days, 2 or 3 days, we did that. And again, it was and I told them who it was from Ohio, a guy from Ohio from our group, and they were just the response for people to realize it, because they're getting a lot of whether it's cookies or I got a paper about this size paper that had a Ronald Reagan quote and a lapel pin on it, and some ladies were walking through there that had hundreds of these things. And we got to do that with somebody else sent me some money. My brother-in-law sent me some money. He was like, I want to be a part of it. And I kept hearing that, I want to be a part of it. I was like, go give it. And I think on some of my Facebook Lives I had I'm trying not to film as I'm handing them money like, hey, I'm some cool dude giving away money, right? But I was on a live a lot of the time, and just to show the reactions, you can go find some of those of the reactions of when you're doing that.
A lot of them wouldn't take it because they said
I know.
they had so much already.
That's true, yeah. There were several that wouldn't take it. But there was a couple, like a day later, I remember 2 different people, they were come up to me, oh man, they were talking to somebody else, this guy's amazing. I'm like, who are you? And then I suddenly realized I gave him $20 or something, right? And so it made that connection. It wasn't even about the money. It was just about the fact that there's a piece of America where people are more concerned with the person next to them than they are themselves. They're more concerned with the movement and what it can bring than how comfortable they are at night. You know, what they're losing money, they're not home with their jobs, but they're looking at their what's I don't even want to say grandkids, what's next year gonna bring? Because we have that vision and we see where it's going in the direction, and it's inspiring. And that's what people are looking for. I just can't get over that, how people were so looking for this cause and for a reason to fight. And they were so inspired by that. There's still people down there sleeping in their cars and in tents. That's weeks of sleeping in your tent on a sleeping bag to drive around the Beltway. It's pretty incredible.
When you were, the last day you were there and you did the loop, and it was pretty intense, and you were like exhausted. Well, like, tell us more about how that day felt. I mean, because some of us were on the live the entire time, and you were like intense. Like that's when they had first shut down all the exits, and then you had people like yelling at you out their windows. And
yeah, that was I about halfway into the DC that first day. I didn't know how long I was going to stay. I was really torn about how long I was going to stay. But Monday was going to be the 7th lap around the city. Now, I was thinking about this. I actually didn't make 7. I think I need to go back and make another one. Because, yeah, I didn't make 7. I was saying I made 7 laps. I'm like, no, the first day, I didn't make the 2 laps. My brother Josh, well, he's loved it, but he's not in this fight like I am, okay? He's not going to sleep on a hard floor in 14-degree weather for that convoy. That's not going to happen. I would. But, so he didn't want to make that lap. But anyway, so we went back, and quite a few of the people did. But I made 6 laps, and I wanted to go back and be there, but I didn't know for sure. I was like, God, what are you saying? Is it really important if I stay or go? But about halfway through that lap, I started to realize the significance of that Monday, and it was as a convoy making 7 laps. And I had been going live, for those of you who weren't following me, I had been going live every day before I hit the Beltway, so it was about 87 miles, I think, from the Speedway to the Beltway. Nice straight road, overpasses, almost everyone had people on it. I don't even know how, because we wouldn't announce what we were doing till the morning meeting. So they didn't put any kind of word out. Are we going to go into DC? Are we going to make the convoy? Is it a rain day? Are we not? They'd announce it at the meeting, 9 o'clock meeting, go get your vehicles, line up, and we're going to roll out. And there'd be people loved it. The one had probably 60 people, and we hadn't announced that we were going to do the convoy till a couple hours before. So they're obviously watching the page. But I would go live, and then as we entered the Beltway from the other highway, I would be praying and saying this is the lap around Jericho. And that Monday, I definitely felt it too. I really felt as I was coming up on the city, on that Beltway, that Monday morning. I was by myself, so Jonathan and Christine and Alyssa and Jonathan's wife came down Saturday. When did you come down?
We got there Friday night.
Oh, he came down Friday night, yeah. Then Saturday they were there. They brought snow with them. We woke up to 3 inches of snow. Woke up in the trailer. The heater had gone out. The heater ran out of gas, and we woke up with snow beating on that little trailer. I was like, thought we were going to get blown away, but it was part of the experience. And they came back. We stood around the fire, and some dude walked through the camp with a freaking McDonald's. Was it McDonald's bag? No, that day it wasn't. But earlier in the week, some guy came through with McDonald's bags of burritos, just handing out burritos, right? But somebody came through that morning with boxes of eggs and bacon and stuff. And we stood around the fire, but yeah, I think it was in the kitchen. But so then they were there, and when they went home Sunday, Josh went with them. So Sunday night, that was a little deflating, right? I've been there 9 days, and then I'm there by myself. There's a lot of people there, but by the time I went to bed, I was fine. It just it took a little readjusting. I'm in the fight by myself. What it felt like, right? In some way. But so Monday, I was by myself making the lap. we hit the Beltway, and we knew at this point we were going to go down into D.C. So that loop, that lap, was a highway that cut down into D.C. Before you get to the swamp, which is the bottom. And that was another thing. As you hit the Beltway, you come around, for any of you who've been there, there's like the lowest spot of the city. There's these bridges that go over the water. I mean, it's like we call it the swamp. We're going to go over the swamp. And you can look to the left and you can see the city. And we would, for the most part, blow our horns all the way across that thing. And it would just echo out there. At times you could stick your head out the window and you could hear it anyway, and just sit there, and the tone of those semi-horns just blowing is just, man, just goosebumps, man. It's really cool. And I would always think about, the shofars they blew over Jericho, and was that, Lord, we declared at prayer several nights. We would be around the fire, and we talked about the story of Jehoshaphat, where Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, was getting
surrounded by the enemy.
He looked out, and there is the masses are coming. I mean, he's going to be done. And so he calls a meeting, basically, and they all are praying and fasting, and a man comes in, a prophet, and he said, the Lord told him, he said, the Spirit of God came upon this man, and he started, prophesying or telling him what to do. And he said, you got to send the worshipers out in front, and that's how you're going to defeat the army. Yes, that gives me goosebumps. Thinking we were like, the semis are the worshipers, okay? Every semi, every truck in this convoy is a worshiper going out front, and they're going to take that, because we can't fight this enemy like that. We can't shoot anybody. We can't. It's a very difficult battle to fight. It's just like you don't even know what you're fighting. And so we would often declare that over the city, over the semis, and we would go around there. But the last lap, before we got to the bottom, we cut off and went into the city. Well, they had closed all the exits. The mayor that morning had told the cops to close the exits, just in case some crazy redneck decides to go down into D.C. with a flag, God forbid. And so they shut. So what would happen is the exits closed. There's cops sitting there. There's a whole line of cars that are pulled over on the shoulder and up the exit, and they're going to go through that exit as soon as the convoy's passed.
Yeah.
As soon as the convoy passed, the cops would back off and they'd let them go. But if you had an American flag, you weren't allowed down into the city. Think about that.
Wow.
They didn't even know what they were doing, but overall, what they were saying is if you are patriotic and love this country, you can't come into the city.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I believe God saw that, because that is just straight up from the devil. And I told somebody, I said, we should sue the cities for discrimination.
Yeah.
They discriminated against us. Because they wouldn't let it down there. I mean, it's pretty simple, actually. But, so traffic got real backed up. It was. I was in the city for 3 hours. 3 hours that I was down in there. There was a couple accidents. That's to be expected, really, with all these trucks starting and going. Cop pulled one semi over. I never did find out what happened, if he broke down or what. But on the other side, the traffic was backed up as well. I don't know if it was from exits or what. And this one lady at one point was, she went by me and she's yelling at me something. And I'm on the Facebook Live, and she's, so she, whenever her car comes back up next to me, she's filming me and she's trying to interview me, right? And say, what are you guys doing here? You guys don't care about shutting down the city? I don't even remember what I said, but it was. She wasn't real aggressive, but she pulled up next to me like 3 times because the traffic would move because she's in the opposite lane. And every time, the second time she came back, she was like, well, of course she brought up race. What about Black Lives? What about, that's not what you guys, I said.
She brought that up after you gave her an answer that basically made it clear that what you were doing was for her. And then when it became like a non-controversial thing, then she was like, well, what about all the Black Lives?
Yeah, she drew, right. She's throwing that in there after, because I basically said, this is the hill that this is our place to protest. Other people protested other things. This is what we're protesting. But it wasn't real confrontational. There was a ton of people, even from downtown D.C., that supported us. Halfway through the city, at one point, really stood out to me. There was this don't know if it was just it looked like a father and his little 6-year-old son that were standing on the overpass right downtown DC, and the little boy is jumping. He's trying to see right. He's doing this and trying to get people to blow their horns. And I get up there and we're going real slow, and I stick my head out and I waved at him, and he got so excited. He was like, "Hey, he saw me, right?" Those kids, those stories, those kids. I'm telling you, even if nothing else, a movement like that the kids are a part of, there's a lot of kids there, it's going to influence and it's going to impact them. They're going to see this fight and what we stood for differently because of that, because their parents brought them to that, because they saw and they had to felt the love. There was a lady that came, she was local, but she'd stand on the overpass, and then one day she came and she was in a line with me there, and I talked to her. She was talked to Brian. I was standing here, and I just overheard her tell Brian, which was the main organizer. She said, "I was on that overpass every day, and I could literally feel the love that you have for this country and the love that you have for your fellow man. I could feel it as the semis and as the convoy went over." She said, "I came out here, I went out there and stood there to experience that as much as I did to cheer you guys on." You know, and they're like, "Thank you for doing this and being a part of this." Everyone had their own piece of it and what it did for them or what it meant to them. But for a lot of people, again, it was about the movement, and it was about the community and the love they felt. And I know for us, people that grew up Amish like I did, and Jonathan, and we grew up in small communities. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't ever have that. They never have that, or they may never have this, where people truly care about the other person. And I just, there's people there. I'm thinking of several I know that said they couldn't leave that because they'd never experienced anything like that. Wow. So it gave them that platform to do that. So okay, let me see here. Let me just skip through this journal real quick and see if there's anything else, any other stories I wanted to put out there. If any of you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm not going to put time.
What you were saying about Chronicles, that 2 Chronicles chapter 20, the whole point in that whole chapter was that God spoke, and God said, "I will fight the battle. You don't need to do nothing. Go worship me, praise me, but watch me fight the battle." And I think, and that's what I shared last night in Medina, I think we need to make sure we're walking in the spirit, not in the flesh. Because it's so, but it's easy. Like I said, I was angry when I went to Arkansas, all the things which I knew, but to hear it again, and then when they showed all the videos of all the speeches from Obama and all the different presidents about, what did Joe Biden just say this past week? One world, new world order. Well, this just didn't start. This has been going on, and it's all about money. And it makes me angry. The American people are being bamboozled. This money ain't for America. It's for the United Nations and all the foreign top folks, organizations. And that's why the UN is in New York. We're funding that with our own tax dollars. And people are ignorant because of the lies of the Democratic Party. So we're getting to the place where God's going to have to fight this battle. Because I'm mad.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was declaring as we hit that beltway actually a couple times, because I read that story. Yeah. The battle is the Lord's, okay? Right. Where's the enemy at? God's got to take these people out and show us how to fight and give us opportunities to get involved in movements like that, or in the races here, or in this meeting, or inspiring your friends, however that is. All right, I'm not going to take up too much more time. I want to read this. This was Monday night. I said yesterday we started circling D.C. on the Beltway. The convoy was very spread out and not well organized. Lots of people were very discouraged because it was spread out and did not feel like it had much of an impact. But today we had more unity, and a lot of the complainers have left. The convoy was 2 lanes wide today and stayed closer together. Tonight I was walking around telling the truckers we are united, we are together. I love them. And one of the truckers told me that he feels the Spirit of God here. And a lot of this was, there was a lot of that, okay? There were negative stories. There's a pastor from Tennessee. His church was all stoked about this convoy. They raised a bunch of money, from what I understood. They put it in the gas cards, and he brought it up, and he was preaching. He was, wanted to do the Bible study thing around the campfire. And the second or third day, he approached one of the organizers about where the money's at, where the money's going, right? Where's the money going? And Brian's response, none of these guys have really led, from what I understood, been leaders of big organizations or anything. They were just some truckers that had an opportunity. The one had been to Congress over a bill because of the logbook becoming electronic or something like that. So they fought a little bit like that, but he was maxed out, and when he asked him the question, he didn't like his response. And so there was a very heated, not a fight really.
Was that discussion you live streamed?
That was another amazing story I wanted to touch on, but no. But so he packed up his gear, started spreading rumors that the thing was a fraud and the money was going into the organizers' pockets, raised all kinds of problems. Somebody else that was pulling the flatbed trailer with the People's Convoy sign where everybody signed it, he drove all the way to California by himself, back home because he got upset at the organizers. The pastor took a box truck that he had custom painted back to Tennessee before he even gave all the gas cards out. And I tell that story to show you, like, there are always those from the 10,000 down to the 300 that are just going to go. They're not going to laugh like a dog, okay? They're going to do their thing, and they're not going to be happy. And in a lot of these movements, when that happens, the value of the movement and the integrity and the strength of the people are determined at that moment.
Amen.
I'm thinking of the Blystone campaign right now, some of the people that left the Blystone campaign, and how others have taken it, whether, it's not promoting Joe, it's promoting the people on the team, really, because we stuck it out, we stuck together, we said, okay, we don't have to do that, but we're not going to get sucked into this vortex of all these stories. Each one of those stories had 10 rabbit holes, and I started, I was getting freaked out a little bit. This one guy was messaging, he's like, go over to TikTok and watch this guy live. He left the convoy and he's pissed off. I'm like, and you get sucked into these. You guys, every one of you can think of a story like that, where you're on a movement, you're part of a team, and then all of a sudden somebody tells you this rumor, and then all of a sudden everybody wants to go home. Every movement ever had that happen at some point. And that's what I finally realized. I talked to Brian several times, I talked to the other people, I prayed about it, and I saw the bigger picture. And because there was a time when I was pretty concerned. I started leaning into these rumors and listening, and they may have had truth to them, but the whole story isn't told. And so that's really important. I think I want to leave you guys with that, with this convoy, is that there was a lot of people, a lot of tough characters, a lot of people that are used to being leaders. I mean, I had that conversation around a campfire with 5 other men. We were all leaders in some way or another. Strong, God-fearing, red-blooded, spirit-filled, tongue-talking patriots, man. All of them. And we all had that conversation about, they are literally telling you where to go in the convoy, how fast to drive, don't switch lanes, come back and come over to the meeting at this time, supper at this time. It's like but that's the community that's created by not having to be a chief and allowing yourself to be an Indian. And a lot of people, if you don't see the bigger picture, you're going to get upset and offended. You want to have a voice, you want to toot your horn. We all got a chance to, we had an open mic night. I got a chance to speak and share some of my story and talk about the group here, and Josh recorded it. And then my phone, the second day I got there, my phone started throwing up this little notice. It said, your data has been corrupted. And it would cause me to reset my phone. It'd throw me out of all my social media accounts. I'd have to authenticate myself to get back in. And I had never seen that before. Then I had several people say that they had set something up He says, I'm an IT guy, and he worked for AT&T, and I can guarantee you the way the signal's acting, the way everything says initializing, the speed of everything, there's something set up on the outside of the speedway that everything's running through that. So it runs through that, and then it runs through the towers. But they can also, I don't know how it works, spyware, corrupt your stuff. Anyway, my phone wiped everything off of it. Literally hard reset. Woke up one morning, and the darn phone was totally locked out. There was only one reset thing I could hit, knocked everything right out of it. But anyway, we all had our opportunities to be a part of it, and in a lot of ways it taught me a large overarching lesson of where we're at. I think a lot of others would say the same thing, how we see the fight and what's important. It was a great experience. Thank you guys for being a part of it. Appreciate all of y'all, and we'll do the open meeting. I want to say one more thing about the races that are happening. We're 6 weeks away from the primary. It's going to be a very different atmosphere after the primary. Okay, our fight is going to feel very different. I'm telling you, it is for me. It's going to feel very different. There's going to be one senator, there's going to be one secretary of state, there's going to be one governor. Considering Democrats, I'm sorry, no Democrat's going to win anything in Ohio this time around. No chance. No chance. And so, think about the day after May 3rd, right? Did we do everything we could? What if they cheat enough in Ohio, to deflate us, but let's say they are going to have 8% fraud. And what we're doing here can raise the level of participation to 9%, just beat out the fraud. That's what our efforts can do. Because I do think everybody here should listen to the testimony of Maria in Kansas. This lady did a testimony in Kansas. It was shared on one of our groups.
Yes.
She's talking about a satellite that they used. What was the name of that satellite? I've been trying to remember that all week. Anyway, there's so many ways this thing could go, but we want to make sure we leave it all on the table. I know all of you guys want to do that. We don't want to have regrets. We want to leave it all on the table. If this goes the wrong way, guys, it's just reality check here. If Mike DeWine or Frank LaRose, or personally for me, it'd be Jane Timken, it would be my worst nightmare. Get back in there. Look where that leaves us. And we have to wait 4 years. 4 years to have a chance. We can't let that happen. So we got a couple weeks where if you lose some sleep and you ain't got no extra time, and we can all go to Florida after that. We can all go on vacation after that. So you just want to remember that. We're 6 weeks, and if it went wrong, it'd be devastating. So, all right, love you guys.
Yeah, everybody give that wanted to give. Everybody want to give. So we don't have a lot of time. So what I like to do, this segment open, and start with some folks in the back. And if we don't get you, we will do another night where we can open it up. So that young man right there in the corner, just cut 2-3 minutes.
Scott Weaver, East Florida. Here to try to save our country.
All right, thank you. We got 3 beautiful young ladies. You want to introduce yourselves and where you from?
I'm Cheryl. I'm from Massillon. And I we got to take it back.
All right, awesome. Awesome. Next young lady.
I'm Tammy. I'm from Canton. I've been here for a few times.
All right, Tammy.
I love it. We're actually, yeah.
Awesome.
My name's Karen. I'm thankful that I founded this group, and I'm thankful for Jason to go to the convoy when some of us weren't able to, and to represent us. And I'm thankful for you, and I enjoy coming every Thursday.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We enjoy having all of you.
That's
here.
right.
All right. My cousin Brenda. Where you from? See how she treats
So I ain't got nothing.
You don't want to yell at the government?
Here.
All right, next lady.
Hi, I'm Marilyn. I'm from Canton as well, all my life. And I'm just really worried about everything going on. Because I feel like the elections can be stolen again. And I don't know if we're powerful enough to put the safeguards in place, short of doing something drastic at the White House or, circling the Senate and all this stuff. Like they did in the old days. Have a shootout. Financial
All right.
I'm Nathalina from Canton.
And what's your passion?
Yeah, well, oh golly, I just to keep informed and to try to help inform others.
Amen.
To stay.
She's an awesome note taker.
Yeah, she's amazing here.
All right, next table.
Oh, hi, I'm Angela Gamey. I've been with the group since April. I come here because there's just so much noise in the world, and it's so nice to be around like-minded individuals and sounding boards, and just when you're feeling low, this group just brings you right back up and just fills your cup.
Come on,
so I'm
baby.
very grateful for that. Thank you.
Woo! We love you.
I'm Andy. I'm from North Canton. This is my wife Jolene here. And we come here, we're uplifted by everybody. I think many of us have the same concept of what's going on in the country and the world at large. And all I have to say is whatever happens is what's supposed to happen, and we're all going to go in the right direction. And God is planning every move, even though it looks like it's opposed to us. It's for our own development, and not worried about what happens. But still, that doesn't mean that we're not going to fight for what's right.
I'm Jolene. I'm his wife. I was gonna say the Sunday after Jason left, some of us were kind of feeling blue because we couldn't go and be with the girls on the overpass and cheer them on in Cambridge. And so we got in wind that there was supposed to be another branch of the convoy coming from like Cleveland down 77, and so I think there was like 12 of us or something, and we went and stood on the Schuylkill exit, the overpass there, and we had flags and stuff, and literally like 4 cars with flags and stuff, which we think was actually it. They were the only ones that we were really there for, but there were so many people that were like not related to anything that were encouraged by it, and so I think that's the main message. We have to like make it so that we're just all speaking out and all making ourselves notice, because we've been shut out for so long and censored and kept quiet. So I think that's the takeaway.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah, that's good.
Young lady right here with down there.
Good.
My name's Tio Bennett. I live in Plain Township. I've been helping young Kenny find some events and groups to meet with.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Two ladies.
I'm Kathy. I've been coming here. I don't remember when I came, several months ago. It's been a while. But I did have a chance to go to Cambridge, and I went early because my girlfriend went extra early, like at 11 in the morning. But she planned on that just to kind of hang out down there for a while. So she calls me and says, "Oh my gosh, we're coming at 3:30." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I better get on the road," So I got down there around 3. They didn't come till 6:30, but that's okay. It was all good. Went and found the bridge, and there wasn't a ton of people, but there was probably still maybe 20, 25 people that stood there that whole time. And then the closer it got, the whole bridge was just full. And in between, before they came, we went back to McDonald's to get something hot to drink because we were freezing. And it was just the next, bridge back. And that bridge, there had been nobody there. That's the main bridge to get off in Cambridge. Oh my gosh, they weren't on the bridge because the cops were there, but they were all down the ramps. And then the media, the strip, or not in the strips, but the ones on the sides, whatever you call those. And so it was really awesome to see. And then we came back, and then there was even more people on our bridge. I mean, that only one car had to drive very slow to fit through there. That's how many people was on that bridge. And there was some truckers parked over here at this company with their lights on and stuff, with flags and everything. But it was really cool to watch, because even though we got there really early, we still stood with our flags and stuff. And all the truckers and cars were just still going nuts, and they weren't even part of the convoy, but, didn't matter. But so it was really awesome. I'm glad I went.
Wow.
I'm
Great
Martha
experience.
Cornell, and I just feel like we were born for such a time as this.
Come
Not
on.
us, then who?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Tom Schufart, and I was here speaking.
Stop.
Here, I don't know, last month. At any rate, did talk on one thing about the election integrity and trying to get information from the 88 counties. I don't know, some people may remember this. At any rate, I sent an inquiry out to all 88 counties. How much money are you spending on the election for your equipment? Blah, 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 blah. Well, the responses I have all gotten back are, contact the Secretary of State.
My gosh.
They do not want to put it out from their mouth to us. Let us know the monies that are spent. We're supposed to know how much money is spent. You call your city up to find out what they're spending on their streets. You can find out. You can find out how much you're spending on salt. You can find out how much money you're spending in the police department. But when it comes right down to our voting, to our is that horrible?
My
They
gosh.
booted it and punted this down to Mr. LaRose. Isn't that kind of interesting? Yeah. So that's my next move. So
Come on.
that's my little update to you.
Did you see the event that somebody just posted that's happening in Canton on April 3rd?
Alyssa.
Tom may have not seen that.
I did.
They're all the election officials from like 5 different counties are coming together, and they're going to convince you why our elections are secure.
That's going to be fun.
That's going to be fun. Come on, man! I'm telling you, you got to be there.
Okay, thank you. So, Ann?
Okay. I'm Ann Dugan. My husband and I started coming here about a year ago, just looking for a sense of community, a place where we felt like-minded people would come together, and still look forward to being here. May not be here all the time, but knowing that there's a place where you can come and get recharged, regroup, and then go back for battle, wherever that may be. So, thank you for
We
the
appreciate you getting here. This young lady right here.
Me?
Young lady.
Well, anyway,
Beautiful
we were
blonde
down
hair.
at Cambridge and on one of the bridges, and we had our little dog. We left Canton at 6:30 that morning. And after graduation, I lived in Cambridge, so I know a little bit about there. And so we had our little dog, and she was just so happy. We put a red, white, and blue scarf around her neck, and she won't think about that big. And anyway, we walked through where he was talking about the gas station or filling station, whatever you want to call it. Everybody was happy. Everybody was smiling. Whether they knew you or not, you felt a part. I mean, it was really, and you felt strange because you hear and walk by people, they never smile. They look at you like, why did you smile? Are you trying to get something from me or whatever? And, it makes you feel funny because I like to laugh, and I think it's a good thing about it. But, God is in control. And the reading about Gideon and that, I just read that last week, and how he kept eliminating people. And we are so few compared to those on the wrong side. And I call it the establishment. I don't even call it our government, because we're the government. Thanks to Tom Howard. And I think the more we think about it, we are not, we're the government. They're the establishment. And it's too bad, because I fear that they are one step ahead of us with everything. It's like before, we thought so much that Trump was going to take over, and I listened to that last night, or that night, and I thought I was gonna just die. I think all the effort we went through, and then it looks so good. That's what I feel. But thank you, and I love being part of this. I do.
We love it that you're here.
Amen.
All right. Okay. These three ladies, come on.
Okay. I'm Alyssa Salisbury. I've been here since the beginning. I guess I'll just share a little bit of encouragement, because if I want to say what's wrong with the government, that'll take a while. But it's true.
We're staying late.
So this week I had a meeting at work where we could drop in and out because we were going to get discounts for the YMCA. So I went down there to check that out and started talking to them, and somehow we started talking about politics. And they were asking me questions, and I told them how to vote, when to vote, who to vote for. And they were really interested. And so it can happen anywhere with anybody. Just let the doors open, and if someone asks why you're busy, tell them. Like I was like, just basically saying, I don't know if I can have a month. Can I have 1 month at a time membership instead of a whole year or whatever, because I don't know how long I'll be able to go. And they said, oh, well, why are you busy? I was like, oh, well, I'm involved in politics. Oh, who are you campaigning for? And so I started naming some people, and they asked questions about these people. And then they started asking my opinion on how the government's run and why I think that they're not asking us for our opinion. And so it went down deep. But these two people now know, they're aware, and they're going to share it with other people. So it's kind of like sharing Jesus. Just do it, and if they want it, they'll take it. If not, shake the dust off your feet and move on.
Beautiful. Patty.
I'm Patty from Yellow, and I have been here from the beginning, and I love being here to be informed, and to just, I'm just thankful to be a part of y'all.
Glad you're here.
I'm Christine, and I wanted to put a little plug in for something back here, but can I quickly just tell you this? So we were at the Convoy the weekend after Jason and Josh left. Jonathan, Dorothy, and Alyssa and I went down to visit, and Paula, I don't even know her last name. They were like, somebody donated like 3,000 of these books. They're free. I got 2 boxes of them. Anyone got some? I left the other box at home. I'll bring it next week, but these are totally free books. They literally donate them. So they're all up here if you want them. Really quickly, I want to tell this thing, it's a little detail. When we were at the Convoy on Sunday, we left. We got there Friday night, following Friday night after Jason and Josh left. And on Sunday, we left. But before that, we had a little church service there in the Convoy. And the sky was absolutely 100% cloudless. No chemtrails, no clouds, nothing. It was absolutely like the bluest sky I haven't seen. I have seen, like in a long time, I haven't seen a cloud like that. Like in a long time, because we always see the chemtrails, and especially this time of year, we see lots of clouds. And I was like, there is favor. I feel God's favor on this conference today. And people made the effort to do little church services. So that was really, really cool just to see that. So just want to share that with
Thanks
you
for
guys.
the books.
Yeah.
Young man right here. Yes.
Hey, I'll stand up. I'm Damon Appel. I think some of you know me, and in here and out of here sometimes. Trying to do as much as I can. I wish Jason was here. I really want to thank him because I wanted to go, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because he stayed there way longer than I wanted to. But I want to talk about, I think one of the themes here was what are you worried about? What are you concerned about?
Right.
A couple weeks ago, I did a post online about Amy Acton getting the award of the year, the Woman of the Year award. And my post, though, was about Yost. It wasn't about Amy. It was about, hey, Yost is the one, our AG, Attorney General, the one who's supposed to prosecute the criminals, didn't do anything, right? Didn't do anything when LaRose shut down the election. Didn't do anything when DeWine did all these things to people, when all these businesses did this. So I'm really concerned that no one is running against him. I mean, there's a Democrat that's going to run against him, but there's no one good, no conservative that's running against him.
Against who?
Yeah.
AG.
And if anyone's heard, that's great.
There is nobody else.
I'm seriously thinking of some stupid things like doing an independent campaign. Well, that's what
Go for it.
The treasurer is also unopposed.
Huh?
The treasurer is also unopposed.
Yeah, but the Yost is powerful. Yeah. Because here's the thing, right? We get Blystone in, or if we get Peterson in, who's going to help? Like, who's going to execute, right? But so I'd be in the same position that Peterson is in, and I just talk with him because I'm thinking about an independent. In 1 month, I'd have to get 7,000 signatures.
Oh, you can do that?
You can do that.
Yeah, right.
We got big dreams, baby.
I got to think about it.
I'll sign my name 5,000 times.
Yeah.
It's on video too. But here's the thing. Here's the other complexity, right? The requirements to run are you got to be 18 years old, eligible to vote in Ohio, and the citizen. The complexity is if you actually win and you're not a lawyer, right?
That's why you have staff.
Yeah.
I have a question. I actually went to listen to Mark Makita talk in Alliance, and Neil Peterson, is it Peterson?
Peterson, he's running for governor.
He was there.
Yeah.
And he was very nice, and he was a very good speaker, and I said, no, I'm really sorry. I mean, you're probably a wonderful person, but I'm going to vote for Joe Blystone. I'm hook-tied. And he said, I'm not running for primaries. And I didn't realize this. And he goes, I'm going to vote for Joe too.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm the second
He's the backup.
He goes, if anybody but Joe is in there, I'm going to be an independent, and I'll get all Joe's votes, and I'll get all. He goes, I've been a Republican my whole life, and I'm running independent so we can have a plan B.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, that's fabulous.
Right.
I mean, that's fabulous that the Republicans are finally coming up with a plan.
We gotta be smart about it because that's the thing. He needs. I know because I just talked to him this afternoon. He needs some vote. He needs some signatures. But I don't want to take up all your time. Yeah. But the thing is, I haven't decided yet if I want to do this crazy thing.
I'll be behind you. We'll pray that you get the
Well, that's
clarity.
what I wanted to hear because some of you know me, some of you don't know me as much. But I would need seriously help.
We'd help you get signatures.
I think it's too great for y'all to can.
And
All right.
Yeah, make up your mind, brother. All right, so we're out of time. So us four will share at the next meeting. All right.
Can I just share something really quick? I forgot last time we took an not last time. Well, the last time we were here, we took an offering and that like we normally do, and we took that money down to the Convoy to share with truckers. And so I just want to let you know a few quick examples. There's a lady that we're familiar with here, some of us, Paula, she was down there, and she had her dogs with her, and one of them had to be put down and stuff, and she was running short on cash and had to go home to work more, and so I gave her some. And then I gave some to a man that was buying toys for the children at the
We
Convoy.
trust you.
And then there was there was a booth where they were giving out a lot of free stuff to everybody, and they were taking donations, and I gave some to them.
Everybody say, we trust you. We represent us.
Okay,
All right.
next meeting. March 31st will be Janet Folger Porter, candidate for U.S. Congress, District 13.
Sorry, Jack Dante.
All right. You'll be our guest speaker. So.
What's her name?
I met her last Saturday.
It's
Oh, you did,
Janet
okay.
Folger Porter.
Don't forget these books, and also mark your calendars. That truckers convoy going to Columbus.
Yes.
Not for truckers only.
Everybody.
It's on a Saturday. Perfect. April 30th. Put it right in your calendar.
I will help you set up your truck if you need help with a flag. Seriously.
Yeah.
I have a Reese hitch, extra Reese hitch flag hitch. I will help you set up the truck. It's going to be a big one.
Don't want to read the whole book. Read the last chapter. First chapter, the last chapter. There's a lot of stuff. Read the last and first.
One more.
There's a line. There's a lot. Yeah, make sure you read the last chapter.
Yeah.
Andy, I was talking to, I actually sent that to Janet. She said she tonight. I'm sure it's
Think we can leave this here with the flag? We probably could. Maybe even stick it inside that little open.
These are earlier movement on the bridge. It's like a whole damn thing. There was even people on the other side. It was great.
It really was something. Coming through there. Oh yeah, you're the semi. Yeah, I got a whole mule. All of that, hollering, screaming.
It was great. We had so much fun. Well, these were the truckers setting up at that, some business there. They were all set up and had flags, so that was really cool.
I'm a short girl for Seattle.
How many ambulances are out there? How many fire trucks are out there? We saw fire trucks during the week
Just hide it in
on the overpass.
That's what I was
after we
really
were
I said that.
fire trucks.
Well, and between those two exits, there was people all on the sides too. Where there was space where everything could fit in. There was people on the side too. It was really cool. Frozen to death, but it was really cool. The wind was really, when you got up on the bridge, the wind was so much, really worse. But
Clearly the biggest cheerleaders were the Chinese. Not that there weren't Americans. But there's an overpass after you hit the Beltway in DC, every day had no less than 30 people. Usually about 80 people. And they were, most of them were Chinese and held the banner. Yeah, I was looking at I didn't have my wallet, but I have one.
Thank you.
No, what I really want to ask is the reason why those guys are like that is because it's kind of cool. My campaign.
They can't see this. You can see that there's anything going on. And just
You know how many people put graphics on their trucks and trailers and all the ideas? Literally hundreds of people that they use people graphics. Part of it, you see it, but I just don't feel the
They also said that
they were allowed to move. And they're lucky that they let Yeah, they wanted alcohol. But they had to leave.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun though. Giving out that cash, you gave some of the other people cash. We had a lot of fun.
They lived in the woods. But shoot it out.
Get out of that. Go to your second and you go home. All right, I'm on I'm gonna get off the store. All right, Roger. All right, folks. We all thanks for hanging out with us. I'm going to jump off here. Maybe I'll get on a live later tonight. I thought about interviewing Dante. You guys want me to interview Dante Sabatici real quick? I'll talk to you before you leave, all right? How y'all doing? You guys enjoy that? I know there's a lot of noise here. It's very difficult to play alive while there's many people here. We'll have segregated states here in America. I hope not. Diane, sorry you couldn't hear it, but the sound is difficult in a place like this. Chloe, don't be worried, okay? Just trust God and do what you can and let the rest go. Do what you can and let the rest go. That's all you can do.
Hi, Mom!
Probably on there.
All for it.
Hey, I'm on Facebook Live. I want to ask you who you are. Is that cool? I'm trying to go live. Build one We have more than just
I mean, my game plan is very simple. It's not.
Hey, let's walk over here if you don't mind. Just we gotta leave here in a second. Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna run this minute.
It's the first time I've seen this from far away.
Oh, brother, it is amazing.
Yeah.
I can't stop. I couldn't stop looking at it. I'm like, wow, the arm and the Ohio State, the fly. There's so much going on.
I know.
It is really cool, man.
And this guy gave it to me that I just met 2 days ago. This is pride and joy. You know, and he gave it to me and trusted that I'll give it back, and he loaned it to me. He made that clear.
Oh, he made that clear?
Oh, yeah.
He did not want to give it to you?
He didn't want me wearing my Steelers jacket anymore.
Oh, yeah. He's a Steelers fan. He walked in here the first night, and we were a little unsure.
But like I always say, about half the crowd is for me. Even with the Steelers jacket.
Absolutely. Northwest Ohio, you're right about half the crowd. So your name is?
Dante Sabatucci.
Okay, you're running for Congress and
U.S. House of Representatives, 13th District in Northeast Ohio. That includes Summit County and the northwest part of Stark County.
Yep. The lines just got redrawn, so you guys pay attention to that. May 3rd primary. We're trying to get people that have not been in politics before. So what's your background real quick?
Yeah, businessman, Army veteran, Gulf War veteran, and I've done missionary work for the past 10 or 11 years in the Dominican Republic. So obviously father, grandfather, and all that too. But you know, between those three, sort of, I came up with this corny saying, which I've never said publicly, but I'll say it here.
Come on, breaking news! Breaking news!
And it just popped out organically one day as I was thinking about different things, and I said, "You can't put me in a box because I'm too well-rounded." So I know that's corny, but
dude, did you guys hear that? Put that on a T-shirt, somebody. But I got to think about that. Hold on, because I can't put me in a box because it's square because I'm too well-rounded. Bro, that's genius.
But actually, it just popped out just like that because I was thinking, you can't say, oh, he's this white right-wing Christian guy, or he's this military veteran guy, or he's this business guy. You can't put me in a box and say I'm just this or this or this because I'm too well-rounded. And then I thought after I
see, appreciate you guys. See you, Andy.
after I said it in my head, I was like, hey, that might work.
Wow, Andy, you need to post more of those things at auctions, bro. I want to bid your stuff up. Yeah, it's cool. Man, I really like that though. The idea that we're well-rounded, that we're not just a one-trick pony, right? And I often see life and what we need to fight that way. You're not just a politician. You're not just a military guy, but you get a well-rounded is not the word I'm looking for, but balanced. Yeah. We're balanced. You know, I know for me, when I came out of addiction, one of the biggest things that I saw that I had to have was balance. Because I couldn't just bury myself in the gym. I couldn't just bury myself in church. I couldn't just bury myself in work because I would go right back into addiction. I had to be balanced, or I couldn't stay on the right road.
Yeah, because I thought about that too. I've never had a problem with addiction, but I do think about how hard that must be when you go in the same patterns or whatever, and you just feel that draw. Yeah. And so I definitely understand how difficult that is. Yeah. I was going to say something earlier on, but
that's good. That's good. All right, man. It's closing time. Thanks, Dante.
Yeah. Thanks,
we appreciate you, man. We love you,
everything
man.
you do. Yeah.
And we'll see you. So, guys, I'm gonna hop off here next week. We'll be back here. I'm probably gonna run another live every Thursday night, Mulligan, 7 o'clock. Next week is Janet Folger Porter, somebody that's running against Dante. We love Dante, but we're gonna give everybody a chance in the platform. We appreciate you guys. Wasn't that shirt cool, Chloe? All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. If I can get this thing to end without. Freedom! Freedom! All right, and then.